All right, let's dive right in. For centuries, there's been this one word that's just been wrapped in layers of mystery, secrecy, and all kinds of speculation: Kabbalah. But what if the big secret wasn't about magic at all? What if it was about a science so far ahead of its time that it actually had to be hidden? Today, we're going to try and unmask that mystery.
So let me ask you this right off the bat. When you hear that word, Kabbalah, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it, ancient rituals and spells, maybe some forgotten religion? Or could it be something totally different? Something that when you look closely starts to look a lot like modern science. And this is where a quote from Dr. Abe Fenster really just hits home. It's like watching a magician. If you have no idea how they pulled the rabbit out of the hat, it seems like real magic. But the second you learn the trick, well, it's not magic anymore, is it? It's just knowledge. It's understanding how it works. And that's the core idea here.
That idea is the perfect lead-in to our first section. We're going to peel back the curtain on this claim that Kabbalah isn't some form of mysticism, but actually a framework for understanding the entire cosmos.
You see, the word itself, Kabbalah, in Hebrew, it literally means to receive. And that's everything. This isn't about just believing something blindly. It's a discipline. It's about keeping your mind open and being ready to receive new ideas about the fundamental how and why of, well, everything.
So here's the argument in a nutshell. Kabbalah is basically the science of a spiritual universe. It's an attempt to map out all the energies and forces that we can't see or touch, things that exist beyond our five senses, but that our modern technology is, interestingly enough, only just now starting to be able to measure.
And all of this connects back to a famous principle: as above, so below and within. Now, this isn't just some poetic little saying. It's a core Kabbalistic concept. It suggests that the very same laws that govern the vastness of the cosmos, the above, are the exact same laws that govern our own inner worlds of thoughts and emotions, the below and within. It's all connected.
Okay, but that raises a huge question, right? If Kabbalah really is a science, a powerful tool for understanding reality, then why on earth was it kept secret for thousands of years? Why would you hide something that profound?
Let's try a little thought experiment. Imagine for a second you get zapped back in time, like 3,600 years ago. You pull out your smartphone and you call someone. To the people back then who have zero concept of radio waves or microchips, you wouldn't be a person with a piece of tech. You'd be a magician, or maybe even a god. And that really shows you the kind of danger we're talking about here. In an age before modern science had even been dreamed of, if you tried to explain the universe using ideas like invisible forces or energy fields, you had two likely outcomes. Either you'd be worshipped as a god, or you'd be killed as a heretic. There was pretty much no middle ground. So, how do you keep that kind of knowledge alive? Well, you hide it in plain sight. You encode it in metaphors and parables, in stories. The general public would get one meaning, but a select few, the ones who could really grasp it, would understand the deeper layers. And crucially, they were playing the long game. They were waiting for a time when science would finally catch up and be ready for what they knew. So, to hide this knowledge in plain sight, you need a language that doesn't change over time, a truly universal code. And what's the one language that's consistent, not just across cultures, but across the entire cosmos? It's mathematics. And the specific tool they used, the cipher, is called gematria. It's a system where every single letter in the Hebrew alphabet also stands for a specific number. You can think of it like an ancient encryption key designed to unlock hidden layers of information packed inside the texts. But, and this is super important, this is not the same as modern numerology. Not at all. In most numerology, the order doesn't really matter. 1 plus 2 is the same as 2 plus 1. But in gematria, order is everything. The letter Aleph is 1, and Beth is 2. Put them together, Aleph, Beth, and you get the number 12. But if you flip them, Beth, Aleph, you get 21. The structure is the meaning. The best way to get your head around this is to think of it like a chemical formula.
right? We all know H2O is the universal, unchanging formula for water. It doesn't matter where you are in the universe. Well, in gematria, the letter Chet plus the letter Yud creates the word chai, which means life. And their numeric values, 8 and 10, add up to 18. So in this system, 18 becomes the formula, the universal symbol for life itself.
All right. So we have the key, right? This idea of gematria. Let's actually try to use it. Let's see if this ancient code really does connect to the modern scientific blueprint of our own cosmos. Okay, I want you to look at this number, 137. Just 137. Seems totally random, doesn't it? Plucked out of thin air. But what you're about to see is that in Kabbalah, and maybe even more amazingly in modern physics, this number is anything but random. And here is where it gets absolutely wild. In gematria, the numerical value of the word Kabbalah itself is 137. It's also the sum of the Hebrew words for wisdom and prophecy. Okay, interesting. But now look at this. In modern physics, there's something called the fine structure constant. It's this fundamental number close to 1 over 137 that governs the force of electromagnetism, the very force that holds our atoms together. Are you getting this? The name for the ancient system and a fundamental number of physical reality appear to be one and the same.
So, wow, what do you even do with a connection like that? I mean, this is the point where it feels like two completely different worlds. Ancient spirituality and hard science just collide head-on.
You know, it reminds me of something the famous physicist Dr. Michio Kaku once said. He said that our physics has kind of leaped ahead, but our math hasn't caught up yet. We have these incredible theories, but we might not even have the mathematical language to fully describe reality. So it makes you wonder, could it be that a system like Kabbalah holds a piece of a forgotten or maybe even an undiscovered mathematical language?
And that really leaves us with this one big final thought to chew on. If one single number can seemingly bridge a 3,000-year gap between what we called mysticism and what we now call quantum physics, what else is hiding in there? What other ancient secrets are just, sitting there, patiently waiting for our science to finally ask the right questions and unlock them? What else have we yet to receive?